Okay, good to see you all and welcome. So this is our second class, but I know a few of you are coming for the first time. So I did a little, it was more of an introduction last class, so we'll go a little bit maybe into more different kinds of pranayama today, so adding on to it. And then hopefully next class we can go a little bit deeper into this practice, kind of building on a little bit in the, throughout these Wednesdays in December. I wanted to just start by, just so you know, I'm taping this, but this it's just for the purpose of if someone misses a class and would like recording of the class that they missed or something like that, and that's available. And I wanted to mention, I think I didn't talk about it too much last time, but there are some precautions that we should be a little bit careful about during some of the pranayama practices. And these are mostly concerned with if you have any kind of like heart disease, epilepsy, glaucoma, or something that you have to worry about when you're doing, because there can be quite a bit of pressure when we're doing some of the exercises, and also it can affect a little bit the heart rate. And these are mostly today we'll be doing them quite softly, like we're just starting, and some of you are trying this for the first time, so we're not going very deep. But just to have it, like if you have any of this, just to go more slowly and less intense, and kind of seeing if it has an effect on you or not. So being aware of this. And of course, if there's anything you're not sure about, you can either just stay for that breathing exercise and skip it, and we'll be doing others that are also more soft, so you'll still be learning something from it. And you can ask me after class, of course, if there are any questions related to that. Okay, so I think I'm going to ask you all to grab a block, just to have one with you. Oops. Bring some. There you go. Pick us up. Okay, perfect, thank you. Yes. Okay, thank you. So we're going to start seated today, and maybe just to touch on it, because like I said, some of you are new. Pranayamas, what are pranayamas? Pranayamas are, we can think of yoga as, we can go into a lot of details here, but just to give you like a bright idea, we can think of yoga as asanas, which are the moving, the poses. Then we can think of pranayamas. Pranayamas are the breathing exercises or the breathing techniques that come through yoga. And then there's meditation. And I'll go a little bit in this also, how we kind of connect all of these different points of yoga. Then of course you have, if you're into yamas, niyamas, like different things. But if you just think about the broad perspective, the most commonly known parts, these are the three parts. And in this course, or in these classes, I want to get chance to explain a little bit better these pranayama techniques that we have, these tools through breathing. Because throughout our other yoga classes, we're mostly focusing on the asanas. Of course, we have pranayamas included, but here we get a little bit more time just to focus on this part of the yoga. Okay, so please come to you can either stay like this, or if this is difficult and not good for the knees, you can also just sit cross-legged like this, and even have a support under the knees. That feels good. We just wanna make sure we feel good in the pose and there's nothing bothering us here. So everyone comfortable? Okay. Now let's just close our eyes if we feel good to close the eyes and yeah, making sure our spine is straight and we're sitting up tall, but relaxed at the same time. So shoulders relaxed. You can even move the shoulders a little bit, maybe moving the jaws, just making sure that everything is relaxed, that can be relaxed. Okay, and then again, like last class, I wanted to start by observing. So just noticing your breath without changing anything. So just checking in to see how your breath feels like in this moment. So maybe noticing where you're breathing into. Are you breathing through your nose or your mouth? What parts of the body are moving as you breathe? Are the shoulders moving? Is it the belly? Where do we feel the breath in the body as we breathe? Are the breaths shallow or deep? And then we're going to start slowly coming into our 3-part breathing, so checking in into each part first. So I'm going to invite you to place your palm onto the belly. Starting to feel the breath in the belly and see if we can move the belly as we breathe. So see if we can, instead of moving any other part of the body, see if we can bring the belly out as we inhale and in as we exhale. And of course, we're not literally breathing into the belly, but we're breathing down into the lowest part of the lungs. So we feel the belly move as we do it. And as you maybe remember from last class, the diaphragm, we're breathing down into the diaphragm. So the diaphragm is basically pressing the organs below it and pressing the belly out and in. And just taking slow breaths and try not to force it, just allowing it to come naturally. Allow the belly to go out as we inhale, just staying loose, going a little bit inwards as we exhale. Okay. And then maybe placing both palms on each side of the rib cage, lower part of the ribs. We're going to start breathing into the palms here. So kind of like we're breathing to the sides of the rib cage, filling the lungs. And you can even press the palms a little bit against the rib cage, so you have to make a little bit effort to breathe into the palms. And again, to see if you can make it come naturally, easily, coming into a nice flow. Okay, and then bringing one palm on top of the chest, 1 or 2 palms. And now feeling the chest lift up as we breathe. And you might notice here how the breaths are shorter, more shallow, because we're just using the uppermost part of the lungs here. And as you might remember from last class, we're kind of working with the sympathetic nervous system here. So we're more connected to the fight and flight. And during the day, we kind of tend to stay up here in the chest breathing, which is not good. We want to try to breathe more down into the belly, into the rib cage, using the full capacity of the lungs. Because when we breathe down into the belly, we're more connected to the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest. So now let's come into the 3-part breathing, trying to breathe or allowing the body to breathe into all these 3 parts. So as we inhale down into the belly, allowing the belly to come out, and the rib cage, the diaphragm, and up to the chest. And then exhaling the same way. Chest goes down, rib cage, the diaphragm, and belly goes in. Inhaling into belly, rib cage, and up to chest. And exhaling the same way. And if we're not used to this breathing, sometimes it feels a little bit forceful at first because we're not maybe used to using our whole capacity of breathing. But as we practice this, it comes easier, and we're practicing. It's like exercising any other muscle in the body, and it becomes easier to take these longer, deeper breaths. Okay, and then just letting go of the breath. Maybe just taking a moment to see how you feel and how your breath is now. Maybe checking to see where the breath goes naturally after this. Okay, and you can open the eyes when you're ready. Okay. And how's everyone? Any questions here? Okay. I want to talk a little bit about bandhas before we continue. And you can, of course, change your pose if you need to, and then we're going to come up to standing after this. So, some of you might be familiar with bandhas through the yoga practice. The bandhas are these locks that we have in the body, and we use them quite a bit in our pranayama practice because we're kind of using them to lock up the energy and lock up the prana, the breath. And just to be familiar with these terms before I use them later in the class, and we use them in the exercises. But we mostly talk about 3 pranas, and it's the Jalandhara prana, the throat lock. And to use this lock, we simply put the chin down to the chest. You might notice it's harder to breathe when we do this. We're kind of closing off the airway and the energy. So the throat lock. Then we have the Uddiyana bandha, which is it has to do with the belly kind of, and we're going to use this actually in the next exercise. So maybe I'll just show you how we do like a full Uddiyana bandha. So we're kind of tucking in the belly and lifting up here. And this was maybe not 100% here because I was also talking, but I'll show you again later. And then we have the Mula Bandha, which is actually the lock, the bottom lock here. And we kind of use that by tucking up. We can use both the anus and the vagina for girls, or this part between the anus and the penis for guys to kind of lift up, and then we lock it. Get this, it's like we're tucking it up, lifting it up. And then we're closing from the bottom. So these 3 locks. Okay. Any questions here? No? And we'll use them so you get to know them better as well. Okay, let's stand up. And I wanted to do, we did last time the Kapalabhati, the fire breath. And we did that in a seated position. So I wanted to also do it here in a standing position. And we can play a little bit around with the locks here as well. So taking a kind of a step further with the Kapalabhati. And this Kapalabhati breath, for those that are new, it's sometimes called fire breath. It creates fire, it kind of increases the energy in the body. And what we're doing, we're exhaling, using forceful exhales through the nose, and the inhales kind of come automatically as we exhale. And we're kind of using our belly as well. So on the exhale, the belly goes in. And it's kind of, you can think of the air kind of moving up here, moving up, coming from the back of the head and down through the nose. And we're going to do a round of these exhales. And after we finish the round, so it's 30 exhales, we start with 30 exhales, we come into our locks. So we exhale fully, and we hold the breath, bring the chin down. We can come into the Uddiyana or Ujjayi, Uddiyana Bandha, sorry, if you feel like trying it out. It takes a little time to kind of get used to it. And then also the Mula Bandha, locking from the bottom. Okay, if it becomes very complicated, you can also just stick to the start with the throat lock. That's plenty to start with. Okay, are we ready? Okay, so make sure you feel comfortable. And also for the belly lock here, it can be good just to be a little bit soft in the knees. Then it's easier to kind of bring this lifting up. And it's like a feeling of lifting everything up, tucking the belly in. Okay, I'm gonna do this so you can also use me as a reference. Okay. So let's make sure we're comfortable. Let's just all take maybe 2 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And one more. Okay. And we're going to take an inhale and start with our Kapalabhati. We'll do 30. I'll make the count, so you don't want to have to worry about it. Counting, and then on the last exhale, I'll ask you to exhale fully, and then come into our locks. Okay. So when you're ready. Exhaling fully. And coming into our locks, so chin lock, the belly lock, and the bottom lock. And we're holding the breath as long as it feels comfortable, and as soon as we need to breathe, we unlock everything, coming up with the chin, and then slowly taking inhales and exhales. So just slowly breathing as we come up. And this also, with the practice, we can hold it longer and the effect becomes deeper. Everything clear?
When you did breath,
yeah.
Still, did you lock any of the bandits?
No, not during the breath. Yeah, no, just keeping, because we want the belly to be moving. We want to use the belly with the breath. So we're not holding any locks until after the full exhale, and then we're kind of closing the energy in. That's why we're using locks. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so let's take another round. Let's just do another 30 rounds of exhales, and then the idea is to slowly increase the exhales as we practice. Let's take another 30, and we're going to do it twice. So I'm not going to talk too much in between, 2 or 3 times. Let's see how we're doing. Let's start with 2. Okay, so let's take one deep inhale together and exhale through the mouth. And then when you're ready, take an inhale and then starting. And full exhale. Coming into our locks, chin down to the chest. Maybe the belly coming in, maybe the Mula Bandha as well. Holding the breath as long as it feels good, and as soon as you need to breathe, just unlocking everything, coming back up, bringing the chin up, taking slow breaths. Maybe just keeping the eyes closed as we come up and allowing yourself to feel the effect as well as you come out of it. Okay. Just one comment here. I noticed some of you are tensing up. We have to remember to relax a little bit, because otherwise we're gonna really feel it tomorrow in the shoulders. So maybe paying attention to that as well. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. And we want as we're doing the breathing, we want to stay standing tall with the chin parallel to the ground, not bringing the lock in until after the 30 breaths. Okay. Taking one deep inhale and one deep exhale. And then coming into the next round. And full exhale. Finding our locks. Chin down to the chest. And also here, make sure you're not tensing up. We're just holding the lock. And when we need to release, we release. Breathing slowly. Okay. And I want to do one more round. So take one deep breath in, exhaling through the mouth. And taking the last round. Full exhale. Finding our locks. Releasing when we're ready to release. Just breathing slowly. Keeping the eyes closed maybe for a bit. Just noticing how your breath is now. Maybe noticing your mind. Something has happened in the body. Okay. And from here, we're going to come into a little bit of moving, getting a little bit of this, of the energy moving. So let's come into sun salutation. Come into the front of the mat. And we bring the big toes together. And I'll just do the first round slower for those that are not familiar with it. Okay, so bringing the big toes together, bringing the palms together in front of the chest. Maybe taking a few breaths here into the belly. Just allowing the shoulders to relax down. And then we're going to take 2 breaths up to the chest, turning on the sympathetic system. So we're going to be moving. Okay, on the next exhale, we're going to come down, lengthen forward on the inhale, lifting up, keeping the arms by the ears, finding a little back bend. On the exhale, coming back down. Okay, we're going to step the left foot back. Left knee comes down. We inhale here up to the chest. And finding our mountain pose, Parvatasana. Big toes are touching, pressing into the palms, lifting the hips up. Okay, coming forward into our plank. Slowly lowering down knees, chest and chin. And straightening out. Inhale as we come up. Sarvasana. Exhale down. Parvatasana, mountain pose. Asvasansala, stepping the left leg forward between the palms. Right knee comes down. And finding our forward fold here. Padasana. Inhale as we come up. Exhale, coming back down. Right leg comes back, Asvasansala. Okay, Parvatasana, mountain pose. Find your plank. We hold the breath as you come down, knees, chest and chin. And straighten out, inhale up to Sarvasana. And here the important thing is keeping the shoulders down, remember. So if the shoulders are coming up, you have to lower down. Okay, coming back down. Mountain pose, Parvatasana. Asvasansala, and right leg steps forward between the palms. Padasana. Forward fold, and Uttanasana, lifting up. Inhale up. Take another round. Exhale, coming down. Asvasansala, left leg comes back. Left knee down. Parvatasana, mountain pose. Moving into our plank. Lowering down. Astanga Namaskar. Inhale up, Sarvasana. Beautiful. Exhale down. Parvatasana, mountain pose. Asvasansala, left leg steps forward. Right knee down. Okay, forward fold. Inhale, come up. Exhale down. Right leg back. Mountain pose. Coming into plank. Lower down. Knees, chest and chin. Straighten out, Sarvasana. Shoulders down, elbows close to the body. Parvatasana. Right leg steps forward. Forward fold. And inhale, come up. And let's exhale, take a break, palms in front of the chest. Maybe closing the eyes. Okay, we're going to take one more round. Maybe a little bit faster, getting the heart up a little bit. So when you're ready, we're in the front of our mat with the big toes together. And on the next exhale, we come down. Straighten out the arms, lifting up, Uttanastasana. Padhastasana, forward fold. Asvasansana, left leg back. Parvatasana, mountain pose. Coming into plank, and we lower down. Knees, chest and chin. Sarvasana, lifting up. Coming back down, Parvatasana. Okay, Asvasansana, left leg forward. Padhastasana, forward fold. Uttanastasana, lifting up. Exhale. Padhastasana, right leg back. Mountain pose. Slanting plank. Lower down. Inhale. Sarvasana. Exhale down. Parvatasana. Asvasansana, right leg forward. Padhastasana, forward fold. Uttanastasana, coming up. And exhale, palms come together into Namaskar Mudra, closing the eyes. And if you need to catch your breath, maybe take an inhale, holding the breath for 1 or 2 seconds. And then exhale. Inhale. Holding the breath 1 or 2 seconds. And then exhale. It's a good method to slow down the breath again. Holding it on the inhales for 1 or 2 seconds and then exhale. Okay, beautiful. You can open the eyes. And I'm going to talk a little bit now, so just get down to seated or whatever feels comfortable. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about where this all comes from and this relationship with the asana meditation and in yoga. So these pranayamas or pranayama exercises or breathing exercises, I'm taking them from the old, we're taking them from the old Hatha Yoga principle, the traditional Hatha Yoga practice. And there are what we call Yoga Sutras, which is kind of like one of the first written or the oldest written transcripts of that explains the Hatha Yoga practice, or how we should practice Hatha Yoga. And it's interesting because it's set up in steps. How we should study Hatha Yoga, and as I said, we have asanas, we have pranayama, we have meditation, we have what we call niyama and yamas, and there we talk about first studying the asanas, the yoga poses. And why is this? in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, which describes this, it explains that we're basically doing the yoga poses so we'll be able to sit through meditation. So we'll be able to get into this pose and sit comfortable for long enough to do meditation. But there are other things that happen when we do asana practice and when we're really practicing asanas and yoga. We also become more what we call embodied and body aware. So we get this awareness of our body, what's happening. We're also releasing tension, blockages. So all of these things are things that prepare us for the next practice, which is the pranayama practice, the practice of the breath. And if we think about the next step, the pranayama, what we're doing there we have moved the energy and we've removed these blockages. We're able to sit still. So now the job is to exercise the breath in the body and the moving of the energy, to freeing the energy and the breath. And there's a very, very nice quote, I think I have it here, that kind of, I think explains this very well. When the breath wanders, when the breath wanders, the mind is unsteady. But when the breath is calm or calmed, the mind too will be still. So if we don't have the control of the breath, we don't have the control up here, basically. And this all, so first comes the body awareness, to being aware of what's happening in the body. Then comes the ability to control the breath and the stillness, coming into using the breath to be able to come into stillness, to bring up our energy, to move the energy, basically. And then comes the stillness of the mind, which is basically the goal of yoga, calm down the mind. Okay. So I just thought this could be a beautiful way to kind of acknowledge this practice and know why we're doing this. Any comments or questions?
And then after this stage, meditation.
Yeah. After what comes after? Enlightenment.
Yeah.
Basically, there are more steps. There's like the one focusedness. There's different steps kind of included in the meditation if you want to go deeper. But basically, the purpose of all of it is the stillness of the mind and the enlightened state in the end, right? So that's why they built this system. Yeah. Okay. If there are no comments, are there? Yeah.
So you said that asana are to release some blocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the breath can do this as well.
The breath is more about.
The breath cannot release energy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what we talk about, that there are blockages in the body that we have to release. And this is all, maybe for some people, this sounds very, I don't know, dreamy or very spiritual or something. But if you really come into there is science behind all of this. Like, it's just it's a way of kind of describing what's happening. And
so I thought you can also release that through the breath.
The blockages. Yeah, but it's more about, I would say more about moving the energy. Yeah, so you have the blockages and you take them away, and then you can start playing and kind of controlling the movement of the energy and the prana, more like that. Okay. Yes, let's come lying onto our stomachs. And you can just bring the toes a little bit out, heels in, if that feels okay. And then we're gonna place our arms up here like 45 degrees more or less, and place our forehead down onto the palms or the forearms. And again, we're just gonna come into feeling our breath, because this is a beautiful pose that kind of forces us to breathe into the diaphragm. And you can use the lungs, because in this pose, we're not really, the chest, breathing into the chest is not very accessible. So just want to come into this pose and kind of feel. So notice the breath here now. Notice what you're breathing into, and again, this movement in the body as you breathe. So you might notice your ribcage move, and you might even feel the diaphragm in this pose. Feel how the diaphragm moves down as we inhale and comes back as we exhale. And what also happens in this pose is that we feel the breath, maybe even in our backs, because a big part of our lungs is actually here in the back area. So when we're fully breathing, we're not only breathing forward into the body, but also to the sides and even into the back. Okay. And from here, let's just bring the big toes together. And we're going to bring the palms into the shoulders. And let's lift up to our four-legged pose. And we're just going to move a little bit here before coming into our next exercise. So you can move in circles, or maybe rolling the spine a little bit, just loosening up, and maybe think about this, removing the blockages and releasing. So we're softening the body, and if there's some stiffness, just trying to kind of move through it and loosen up. And moving the neck, the head, making sure we're not getting stiff around the neck and the shoulders. Okay. And then let's just meet up and four-legged again. We're not there. And let's take one nice stretch here, just to bring the fingers so they're facing back towards our knees. Exactly. And then we can kind of bring the hips down towards the heels and just get a nice stretch. Very deep stretch, really stretching into the nerves and everything. This also gives us a bit of energy. A little massage, massaging the nerves. Okay, and then we can slowly just peel the palms off, coming into seated. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to come into our next pranayama. So find your comfortable seated position. And I put my block like this. Just lifts it up a little bit higher, and you can even grab another block if you like. If it can be more comfortable if you felt like it was hard to sit like this before. But I prefer, you can totally sit cross-legged as well. I prefer this pose because I feel like the belly is more loose in this pose, and we're not kind of more open and relaxed in this area. Okay, so I'm going to come into another exercise that's called Bastrika, or sometimes called the wind breath. This is similar to the Kapalabhati in a way, but it's more, we're using both forceful inhales and also forceful exhales. So it's, for me at least, it's a little bit more tense because we're inhaling and exhaling. It's called wind breath because it's very cleansing breath. It kind of stirs up the energy and kind of cleans up the system. Also, if we have just, physical mucus or something, it's very cleansing. And we have, if anyone needs tissue, we have a toilet paper roll there. Yeah, so we're going to go into that, and from there, maybe a little bit, before I start, about the benefits of this, and it's kind of the same benefits as with the Kapalabhati. The Kapalabhati is more, it's called fire, more energy, because you're just kind of pumping the exhales, but here we're more of a cleansing breath. But what we're doing with both of these exercises, they're kind of intense, but we're practicing, as I said before, we're practicing using this whole capacity of the lungs. And what happens when we do that, we're reaching more what we call oxygenation so we have more oxygen in the blood. And for a lot of people, we're actually only reaching 70% of this oxygenation. But we can, if we're using our full capacity, reach up to 100%. So it's just, and maybe, I don't think I said this last time, but another thing that I find very interesting is the yogis, they actually don't count their lives in years, but they count them in breaths. So the slower you breathe, the longer you're going to live, basically. And when we have fuller breath, we're able to breathe slower, as we're really using the full capacity of the lungs, using the full oxygenation. What else? Yeah, so it's cleansing, it's purification that's happening. It helps us practice the belly breathing, practice breathing more into the belly, because we're using it in this forceful way for a while. And it speeds up blood circulation because we have more oxygen in the blood, and that purifies the blood and then the organs as well, of course. What we're also doing, we're kind of giving the organs a little massage as we're doing it. This helps with digestion, for example. It kind of helps with, it just kind of stimulates all the organs. So it's a little bit, you can think about how I kind of picture it is, for example, if we do fists, like kind of really do like squeezing like this, we're kind of blocking the blood circulation, and then we release, and there's like full-on blood that rushes into the fingers. And that's also kind of a way to see it when we're, for example, holding the Uddiyana Bandha, kind of pressing the organs, massaging, and then when we release, there's extra blood flow rushing in. And then, of course, all of this helps us also calm down the mind, as I'm hoping you will notice as well. Can I get us to this more relaxed state? Okay, so we're going to take the Bastrika, but from there we're going to go straight into Ujjayi breathing that I think most of you are familiar with, the ocean breath. So I'm just going to explain it now so we kind of can get more easily into it after. So Ujjayi breathing, what we're going to do there, we're going to make a little constriction in the back of the throat. And we breathe in and out slowly through the nose. And we start making, it comes like a little bit of this, like ocean wave sound. And this time when we're doing it, we're going to think about, as we inhale, we're going to think about lifting the energy up from the root. And then on the exhale, releasing everything. So you might even use the Mula Bandha, lifting up the root lock. And then exhale, releasing. And if you want to go even further, we can also add hands to it, which I find is very effective as well. So on the inhale, so we place our palms against each other. And on the inhale, we would inhale the energy up. So it's kind of like we're filling the palms. And on the exhale, coming together. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. Does everyone feel comfortable as they are? Does anyone? No? Let's try another block. Anyone need? Yeah? Please. I want you to feel good because we're going to sit for a while. You can also, is it the ankles or the knee? You can also try this, like sitting like this. Even another block. Okay, I'll bring you also a blanket. Anyone else need an extra block? You can also try putting this under the ankles. And if it's horrible, come into cross-legged and sit on top of the blocks. Okay. Okay, so like I said, we're going to come into this. Yeah, one more thing to explain. I'm sorry, it's a lot of information, but I'll go through it also during the practice. So when we finish this, when we did the Kapalabhati, we exhaled fully. So we released all the air and then we came into the locks. Here we're going to fully inhale and then come into our locks. So this time we're not doing the Uddiyana Bandha, but coming just into the throat lock, and you can also come into the root lock. So come into the lock, hold our breath in, and then we try to relax as we do this. So try to think about calming any tension that's there. And then when you need to breathe, just releasing the locks as before and slowly breathing. So get this nice effect as well. Okay. So let's take a full inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. One more. Okay, and come into the Bhastrika. So forceful inhales, forceful exhales. And full inhale. Coming into our locks, root lock and throat lock. And just holding as long as it feels comfortable for you. And when you need to, breathe, releasing the locks first and then slowly breathing. Okay. And I just want to make sure, is there anything unclear, anything you want to ask before we go into the second round? This is quite intense, as I said, so also notice how it feels. You might get a little headache, you might get a little bit tense, so also think about trying to relax the shoulders and using the belly breathing when we're doing this. Excuse me? Okay, less this now. Okay. Okay. Ground, yeah. Maybe it's also because we already did the Kapalabhati, so you're more feel more ready for it. Okay. So let's take another deep inhale, maybe closing the eyes, taking deep inhale through the nose. Do a couple of these. I want you to try the cross-leg position. Sit on top of this. And I'm going to be bringing you more blocks. So take a couple of more inhale through the nose. Just releasing between. Use this to support the knees. Even more of it. Okay, we're going to try the next round. And as I said, think about using the belly again. So inhales, exhales, belly goes in, pressing in on the inhales, belly goes out. Okay, so when we're ready. Full inhale, finding a lock, root lock, throat lock, closing in the energy. Thinking about relaxing everything else. And then releasing when you have to release. Just breathing slowly, mindfully. Okay. Everyone okay? Okay, let's take one more round. So let's take 2 inhales through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. And one more. And coming into our last one. Making sure the shoulders are not tensing, using the belly. It's the belly that's moving, not the chest or the shoulders. Trying to come into this rhythmic way. Forceful inhales, forceful exhales. And deep inhale, full inhale. And coming into our locks, making sure everything else is relaxed, shoulders relaxed, jaws, arms, chest, calm mind. You're staying as long as it feels good. And releasing the locks. Inhaling slowly, exhaling slowly. Okay, we're gonna come straight into our Ujjayi breathing. So start feeling this constriction in the back of the throat and this ocean sound as we inhale and exhale. So thinking about as we inhale how we're lifting up the energy, exhale, releasing down. And we can start using the palms. If we're going to use the palms on the inhale, lifting up the energy, palms coming out to the sides. On the exhale, palms coming closer, and we release everything down. Inhale. And exhale. Just feeling relaxed and easy as we do this. Feeling the breath slow down. Inhales becoming longer. Exhale coming longer. And you can just relax the arms and just release the constriction and just start breathing normally. Just allowing yourself to feel the calmness you created. And we're gonna end with one more pranayama, which is called Bhramari, or the bee breath. And we're gonna use that to calm us even more down. And maybe coming to the middle of our mats. See if you need to stretch out or move the legs a little bit. Now we're gonna come into cross legs. And it could be a good idea to put on a sweater, socks, because we're gonna end in Savasana after this. So ending in a lying down position. Okay, and the Bhramari, the bee breath. This is another pranayama coming from the Hatha Yoga, but it's so interesting. I've been babysitting my little 18-month-old or 1.5 years old niece. She actually does this naturally before falling asleep. So when it's time for napping and I take her out in the stroller, she starts doing this. and then 5 minutes later she's asleep. So she uses this to calm her down. Okay, so those of you that are not familiar with it, we're basically making a sound like a bee, and we're creating vibration. This vibration is also the effect that kind of calms us down. And so we're using the egg cells, and I'm just gonna demonstrate it for you. Let me just do two rounds to allow you to see it. So we're always using our nose. So inhaling through the nose, and then and what's also happening here is that we're also kind of making this constriction. And when we do this, both in the Ujjayi breathing and in this one, Bhramari, it kind of forces us to lengthen the exhales. And when we lengthen our exhales, we slow down the heart rate, the heartbeat. Because you might notice it when you inhale, when you take an inhale, a quick one, our heartbeat goes a little bit up, and on the exhales, it slows down. So the longer the exhales, the slower the heartbeat becomes. But what also happens is as we exhale slower, we're also giving the body more time to process the oxygen that we're breathing in. Okay, and you can sit like this, or also you can use as many blocks as you want to sit on. I also want to suggest, it's not necessary, but if it feels good, I want to suggest like making a little rocking as you do this. Because this is another thing that kind of calms us down. And sometimes it's just hard to sit still, so this also keeps us a little bit occupied and keeps the body moving. So that's an option if it feels good. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Maybe one thing is we're almost out of time. Is it anyone that needs to leave exactly 9:15? Okay, just raise your hand if so. Okay, so I'll go a little bit over, just 5-10 minutes, just so we can really feel the effect. That's okay. Yeah? Okay. So, Bhramari, when you're ready, you can just close your eyes. And then we start taking an inhale through the nose and making the B sound. Let's take the last one. And just releasing the breath, breathing normally. And you can sit a little bit longer if that feels good, or start just moving down into your Savasana if you're ready for that. So allow the toes to drop out, the legs a little bit apart, palms facing up. And if anyone gets cold and needs a blanket, you can just place your palm on the belly. We're just going to allow ourselves a few minutes here in stillness to integrate and just taking time to fully let go after our practice. If you still have something to release and let go of, you can inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Just see if you can fully relax with the exhales. We're gonna slowly come back from here. Maybe taking a couple of deep breaths in through the nose, into our belly, using the full capacity of the lungs. Exhaling slowly through the mouth even. Filling the body with new air, new prana, new energy. We can start moving the fingers, moving toes, maybe moving the head to one side, to the other. Rolling wrists and ankles. Slowly bringing movement back into the body. Start stretching out if that feels good. Bringing the knees to the chest. Maybe even rolling on the back, giving ourselves a little massage before standing up or coming up. And we're going to slowly make our way up to seated position. Maybe keeping the eyes closed a little bit longer. Coming up to the position we started the class in. And when we're up, I want to invite you to place one palm on the chest, the other one on top. We're just going to check in one more time before we finish. So maybe noticing how you feel in your body now. Noticing if something has come up during the class. Noticing your breath. Or maybe your mind, checking in with the mind as well. Where's your mind? And we can place the palms together in front of the chest. And I thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you for showing up for yourselves. Namaste.